Hi, this is Tim Lemke, the sports business reporter with the Washington Times. I'm here alongside DC United beat writer John Hayden and our new blogger on WashingtonTimes.com, Blog FC. His name is Drew Hansen. And we're here to talk about DC United and their plans to build a new stadium out in Prince George's County. They'll be leaving the District of Columbia, their home since 1996, possibly playing in a new facility as soon as the second half of the 2011 season. I want to ask you, John, did this news come as a surprise to you?
Well, it's something finally is happening. It's been so long. I mean, DC United has been really ahead of a lot of other teams with great results. They've won championships, they've signed great players, but they've fallen behind when it comes to stadiums. You know, there's 8 other teams in this league that have their own stadiums, and it's time for DC United to get their own home, to have their own identity, and to really treat their fans, who are great fans, with, respectability and a nice place for them to play.
Now, they've been playing at RFK Stadium since '96, and it's been a pretty good home for them in terms of attendance. They've drawn very well. They average over 20,000 fans per game. But what are some of the problems with RFK, and what are some of the advantages that a new stadium might provide the team?
Well, in soccer, a stadium gives a team an identity. You can't imagine Manchester United without Old Trafford, Aston Villa without Villa Park. DC United needs its own home. RFK is not a bad place. It's been a great atmosphere. You get 17,000 people in there. You still got a lot of noise. But, 24,000 people in a nice box stadium would be a great atmosphere for the fans. And another thing as well, in RFK, sometimes DC United has been the away team when you get South American or Central American clubs coming. So DC United, I think, with their own stadium, it'll completely change the atmosphere.
And I think from a financial perspective as well, they'll be able to raise more money from luxury suites, club seats, and maybe even charge a little bit more for tickets. And with their own facility, they'll probably be able to, control more of the revenue, and they'll do a lot better. Drew, I wanted to ask you, from a fan's perspective, what does the move from the district to Prince George's County mean? Will this be problematic for fans? What's your sense of whether or not fans will have a problem with this or not?
Well, I think wherever DC United goes, the fans will come. But the problem is, since 1996, it's been the same thing. And when you change that, it poses some problems, has some hesitation. And I think there's sort of a mental block about having to go, into Maryland, not going to RFK. It's just something different. And you want to be able to maintain the same atmosphere, improve it while making this move and opening things up to fans and making sure they have some input into what's going in. So, maybe some focus groups would be great, talking to the fans, talking to the support groups, La Barra Brava, Screaming Eagles, La Norte. Talk to them and see what they want to see in a new stadium.
Gotcha. And I know they're looking at, a half a dozen sites, somewhere in Prince George's County, Morgan Boulevard Metro, Largo Town Center Metro, which are only, Drew, like 15-minute metro rides from where they are right now. So really, is it really that big of a deal?
It's 4 or 5 stops, but a lot of people from the city, come to the game. I see a lot of people bike to DC United games in the city. But at the same time, again, it's just that psychological barrier of going into Maryland. I know there's a really strong fan base in Northern Virginia, and there's always sort of that thing about going over the Wilson Bridge or going through the city to go to a stadium. And that's something that they need to find a way to overcome and just talk with their fans and make sure that's something they want to, they're comfortable doing.
Do you see anything, John, in the initial plans for the stadium? I know we're still trying to figure out where it will be exactly and exactly what it will look like, but is there anything that you think could be problematic for the team moving forward?
Well, apart from losing some fans in Virginia, but there again, they can gain fans in, you've got a big soccer base in Bowie, you've got Crofton, you've got Anne Arundel County. Howard County is a major soccer base for fans. They've got to make sure that I think they've got to make sure it's a box stadium, that all sides are covered, the typical European atmosphere. They want to have that. There will be some problems, but, this team's been losing money. And this is an A1 team, it needs an A1 venue.
What conversations have you had with players about the stadium? Did they ever complain about RFK? Was there an eagerness on the part of people like Ben Olsen and Jaime Moreno, who have been with the team for a while, to get in a new facility?
No, I think RFK has always been a good venue because, as I said, it holds the sound, and they've had such a great base of fans, as Drew talks about, Barra Brava and the Screaming Eagles. I think the fans, the players like it. when I was down at RFK this week, one of the younger players, Mark Birch, was very happy about it. You know, he's a former Maryland player. There's Rodney Wallace. They know that maybe some of the University of Maryland will use the venue. I'm sure they can draw some of those fans that go to Maryland University games. I think the young players will probably like it. Maybe some of the older players, like Jaime Moreno, who's lived in Virginia all his life, maybe it's a little, and even the coach who lives out there as well, maybe a bit more of a journey for them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see how it goes. I know there's still many steps in this process. The Maryland legislature will consider a bill to float some bonds. It will be paid back by stadium taxes as well as rent on the stadium. So there's no new additional public dollars, which is something that DC United's been very adamant about saying. But there's still a lot of steps in the process: picking a site, getting the financing in order, and then getting the thing built. So we'll see how it goes. We'll have Kevin Payne chatting on WashingtonTimes.com on Thursday, so check that out on our website. And we'll also have more coverage both in the print edition, on the website, and our new blog, Blog FC. So take care. Thanks a lot.